Good morning and welcome. My name is Julie Shields Rutina, and I am the Director of College Planning, Education, and Training at MEFA. And I would like to welcome you to the presentation this morning, this webinar on using social media to communicate with families. This webinar is part of our MEFA Institute, which is our professional development training for all of our peer colleagues. And so we're just thrilled that you've found us this morning, that you're here. And I would just encourage you to go to the MEFA Institute and look at all of the other lessons and webinars and information that we have there. You can also earn professional development points when you participate in one of these webinars. So we're just very happy to offer this these type of programs for you all year long. So you find the MEFA Institute at mefa.org/MEFA Institute. And this morning, I'm thrilled to introduce my colleague, Lisa Rooney, who is our public relations and social media manager at MEFA. And she'll tell you a little more about herself when she begins the presentation. But I know I learn a lot from Lisa on all of these topics, and I know that you will as well. A few logistics. If you have questions, type them into the Q&A, which is at the bottom of your screen, and we will make sure to answer those questions. If you need to have a live transcript so that you can see the words that we're speaking, you can click on the CC button. You can also, end by just clicking out of this and know that we are recording this webinar, and tomorrow I will send you the slides and a copy of the recording that you can have and also that you can share with others. So without anything further, I am going to turn it over to Lisa to talk with us about social media.
Thanks, Julie. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming this morning. Again, my name's Lisa Rooney. I am the Public Relations and Social Media Manager here at MEFA. I've been at MEFA for just under 11 years. It's wild. It's been a fun ride. And what I can speak about social media is that we worked really hard to build our audience. I started working on social media when we only had about 700 followers on Facebook, and I think maybe like 700 or 800 on Twitter. And we've grown our audience, we've grown our planning and our strategy. And our goal is really to be there to help the students and families across the Commonwealth and to help you help your students and families. Today, we're going to talk about how you can use what we do and discuss how to expand college planning awareness and education through all of the popular social media platforms. So MEFA right now is on Facebook and Twitter. We're also on LinkedIn, and this is a sneak preview for you guys who are joining us today. We are in the development of Instagram, so we'll likely be on in the next few weeks, whether you're on as a personal account or your school has a professional account. You can find some of our resources there very soon. We find that using social is a really, really effective way to reach families because they're already there. So they're already looking for different types of content, and we are here presenting the information that they probably need if they're in the college planning process, if they're going through college admissions, if they're going through college financing. There's a ton of information to get out to these families regarding the college planning process. And in the past, MEFA was able to join folks in person. And we've learned, especially in the past year, that social media is a really important piece of the puzzle to really get that information out to families. So quickly, we're going to talk about why counselors could and should participate in social media. And then we're going to touch on the resources that we have available to help you continue your use or start your use of these platforms. And then we can talk quickly about what we're doing to help you and sort of open the discussion up a little bit to see how you are doing with your families, how you're communicating with your families, and maybe how MEFA can help support you through that process. So why participate in social media? There's a lot of reasons. School counselors, you guys are an amazing resource for families. Each and every one of you touches the lives of hundreds of students each year, and you have the ability to impact families in so many ways. One of those ways is by serving as an advocate during the college planning process. Social can help. If you follow MEFA and you follow other organizations like MEFA who put out resources to help your families, we're working really hard to get content out there, and all you need to do is see those posts and you can share them right along with your families. At MEFA specifically, we work really, really hard to plan out the tools and resources that will be the most helpful to families in the midst of the college planning process. We share blogs, videos, we have calculators and other tools, we have webinar opportunities and a podcast series, and we're sharing all of that on our social media across all of our platforms. And the content, we really try to meet with what we call our thematic calendar. So right now we're in college admissions and college financing, as the FAFSA will be opening October 1st. So we're really trying to push out a lot of content for our senior families to make sure that they are prepared as October 1st comes along. And we have other things for our younger families. Right now it's college savings month, so we're pushing out a lot of college savings content. And we just pay attention to what's happening across the board throughout the year, what is happening and what's important for families to be paying attention to. And we try to push that out there so that families will see it. And so our other community organizations, our counselors, all of our partners will see it and be able to share that content right with their families. The most important thing, and I hope that you are all aware of this, but all of MEFA's guidance is free, and our goal is really to be there to help students and families realize their goal of a higher education. One piece of that planning is, again, ensuring that our social media content is helpful, relevant, and engaging. We try to reach as many families through social as we can. And right now we have just over 43,000 followers on Facebook. And with that, I'm gonna speak a little bit of social media terms here. We have an average potential reach of 7,291 people per post. So what that means is if MEFA puts out a post about I can't even think of a resource off the top of my head. One of our blogs, our FAFSA, what you need to complete the FAFSA blog, is something that we're sharing this week. If we push out that post, there's a likelihood that over 7,000 people will see it. The goal of this is so that you guys are aware that we're pushing these resources out there. And if you're active on social media and you like that post, that gives us the opportunity to reach even more families. And I was trying to think of a really easy way to explain this, and it's actually a little bit difficult. And I'm a visual person, and I wish I had created something more visual. But if you think about it, where I, Lisa, post something and I am friends with 50 people, only 5 of those people might see my post. But if those 5 people see it and share it, then their 5 people or their 50 people may see it and share it. And so what happens is the little pool gets bigger as somebody shares something. And as the pool gets bigger, the likelihood of people coming back to that original post is greater, which will likely build that audience to be greater, which in turn makes the pool become bigger. And the more people that are seeing it and engaging with it, the more likely someone that isn't already aware of MEFA is going to see it. By working together, you guys can help get the key information that MEFA provides directly to the families who might not know who MEFA is. In addition to sharing this quality information, we can spread the awareness of MEFA's free services and let families know that MEFA is available to support them along the way through the entire college planning process. And I say that because I'm talking about MEFA because I work for MEFA and that's where my head is at, but I just want to take it like a step outside the box a little bit. And there are a lot of other organizations out there. Julie, I'm sure that you can chime in and share a few of those, but you know, I think off the top of my head, the Department of Education, Federal Student Aid, the College Board, any types of organizations like that are putting out a lot of resources and content to help families. And if you're following them as well, that allows you to share that information directly on social media. Or maybe you see it and you don't have a great following on social media. You can take those resources and put them into your newsletters, or however you're communicating with your families, you can make sure that they are getting that important content as well. For those of you who are already active on social media, there's, again, an existing pool of students and families to reach. You can think of your family, your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues. Chances are there are at least a few people on your friend list who have children who will benefit from these free resources. They may be interested in MEFA's resources or know someone who may be in need of MEFA's services. And I think everyone wants families to be able to have this information to make the college planning experience a little bit less stressful. If you don't have social media, it doesn't have to be complicated. You can start your profile really easily. You can immediately see suggested friends and pages to follow. And if you're going to do it from a personal experience, that's great. If you're going to do it from the counseling office, that's great too. This is actually a great place for me to pause. It was brought to my attention yesterday that there may be some folks on the line who don't manage the social media account, but you do know someone in your school who does. And so I encourage you to share this resource with them when we get the recording, share it with them, and even reach out to us. I will share my contact information at the end of this presentation. You can find me right on MEFA's website, or you can just follow us and shoot me a message. And I'd love to connect with you and better understand what resources are helping and how you are communicating with your families. So again, if you are not the right person to be executing on the social media, but you can help us spread the word about MEFA and about social media to talking with your families, please do so and connect back with us. MEFA also, one of the things that we do is as we work through our campaigns, we have the resources and support in place. And what that means is we create sample posts that you can actually cut and paste, put right onto your page and share the resources that we're promoting. So as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we are in our college financing season. We're really excited about it. We have a series of webinars that will be going on for families beginning September 21st. And so what we did is we worked really hard to create some posts for our counselor audience who are active on social media to just cut and paste those right onto your platforms, and it will link directly to where folks can find those events and register. In addition to that, as I mentioned before, you can just, if you see a post that you think would be helpful for your families on any of our pages, you can just go ahead and right there, engage with it. So briefly, I'm going to review our social media platform. As I mentioned before, we are extremely active on Facebook and Twitter, and we're also active on LinkedIn. So I'm just going to go ahead and move right on through this. And as Julie said, if you have any questions or comments, come send them right along in the chat. I'm happy to address those as we move along. So the first platform I'm going to talk about is Facebook. And so engaging on Facebook is really easy if you're familiar with it. Excuse me. Both individuals and businesses or schools have Facebook accounts and are active, and they find it as a useful way of communicating with school members, colleagues, parents, and students. There are a lot of things to do with Facebook, and we're just going to talk about how to engage and share, and as it relates to MEFA and the other organizations that might be important to you. Make sure, if you aren't already, you're liking MEFA's Facebook page. Again, this is a screenshot of what MEFA's Facebook page looks like, and here's the like button right here. So all you'll have to do is hit that like button and you'll be right into our content stream. One of the other things that you can do is if you're already following MEFA's Facebook page, you can invite friends, colleagues, anyone that you're already connected with, and that's really easy. You hit this three dot button up here, you'll see this opportunity to invite your friends. And so that will allow you to share with your colleagues MEFA's great content. And if you do happen to have an audience of parents or colleagues that you want to be sharing this with, you can go ahead and click that and you'll see a list and you can choose the folks who you think might be appropriate. Engagement is really the key thing across the board with all of our social media platforms, but Facebook in particular. Liking and following Facebook pages not just MEFA, but again, of any of your trusted organizations, will allow you to see their content and you can share that content with your families. If you promote those, if you share those posts, your families will see them. And again, those sample posts that we provide will help you promote MEFA's webinars, and you can modify those within your own words, or you can just, again, cut and paste. We try and make it as easy as possible. One of the other things that we ask is that you tag MEFA at MEFA MA is how you can tag MEFA on Facebook. And again, if you're going to be sharing from other organizations, make sure that you're tagging them as well. This will allow us to see your shares and we can engage with them and then help boost your promotion of MEFA. MEFA is also working to get all of the great events that we do, all of our webinars, right into our Facebook page. There is an opportunity for folks to go right into Facebook and see all of the events that are coming up. And you can go ahead and RSVP and say that you're coming, and you can go ahead and register right through that event. And those events can also be shared from other folks' social media pages. And again, liking and sharing MEFA's posts will help us to boost our audience. And our goal is that the content that we're pushing out is also relevant to your family. So you're going to want to share that. So it will help you boost your the content that you're pushing out, because we have stuff right here that we hope is going to help you help your families. And again, the final thing is, if you're sharing MEFA's content, we also encourage all of your families and any of your followers. We encourage that you encourage them to engage with MEFA and, again, any other trusted organizations on Facebook. What I did here is I pulled in some recent examples of how organizations have been talking about MEFA on Facebook. So we have a post from Acton, is that AB, Julie, is that Acton Boxborough AB, the counseling department, sharing our FAFSA?
It is, yes.
So sharing our FAFSA event that we had last year, and again, linking right out to MEFA's FAFSA event. And again, you'll see that MEFA up here is in blue. And the reason for that is that it's tagged. And if someone were to click that MEFA, it would bring them right to MEFA's Facebook page. We have Anchor College Counseling. So again, it's never too early to start planning. This is actually something that MEFA had shared, and they went ahead and decided to reshare it, but create some of their own content alongside it. And again, you'll see the image right there of Jonathan sharing our college savings webinar that's happening next week. And then Lowell Catholic School Counseling, sharing some of MEFA's financial aid events. And this is actually a really good example of MEFA had created a sample post. And I can see here that they made a few modifications to the text, but generally kept most of the content the same, including the links, including the tag to MEFA, but made it relevant to their families and the way that their families might more resonate with it. And I can see here that they got 5 likes here. So they are getting some engagement, which is really exciting and great. So moving into Twitter, Twitter's a little bit different than Facebook. It's a little bit faster paced in that things, we always call it sort of like the stock market ticker. It's always changing. If you're just sitting there looking at Twitter all day, you're going to constantly see things refreshing. And you know, if I'm on there, there's about 500 or 600 folks that MEFA follows. It actually might be more now, and it's every 30 seconds. It's constantly changing. It's more of an information network now that allows users to write and read very short messages called tweets. And those can be accessed on your phone, or if you go to twitter.com. You can add photos, videos, and links to external sites. And it's all just to share information. I, from a personal perspective, use Twitter a lot to get very quick hit headlines. And then I follow very specific people to get very specific messaging. And so I think this is a really great place specifically for families to get some information about college planning, because we try to keep it short and sweet so that it's digestible content. So as you're working through Twitter, you're really getting only what you need. And if it's something that you want to click out to, you're going to do that right there within the app. Same as Facebook. I went ahead and took a quick screenshot of the homepage on Twitter. And an easy way is just to click that follow button right there. And our handle is at MEFA Tweets, very easy to find. So lots of folks share info about MEFA, and here are a few examples. So we have Stoughton Schools and Franklin High School. These are some old screen grabs, but they're still relevant. And again, you'll see that there's a tag to MEFA Tweets in both of them. There are some hashtags here, which help to add a post into a larger stream. So if someone's on Twitter and they're looking specifically for webinars, that hashtag webinar is going to help us get into that content. And then it'll also read for financial aid, it'll read for college decision. It allows you to become a part of a greater conversation. So we try to include hashtags as much as we can, just to include ourselves into the conversations that are relevant with MEFA. If you have a Twitter account, you could tweet something similar to these, or you can tweet anything that you think is relevant. You can just go ahead and click share. Do I have a, yes, okay. The next slide is a little bit easier for me to run through this. So if you have a very specific post that you want to engage with, there are a lot of different options for you down here, and I went ahead and took the liberty to create some explanations. So a quoted tweet, I'm going to go back previously. The quoted tweet would be something like this, where you see something that MEFA shared, and then that will allow you to create your own content right above it. So if you see something that you like, you can just hit quote tweet, and then you can say, families, this is a really great resource for you, check it out, and sign off, or however you want, however you would communicate with your families. The retweet really just exactly that. You're just going to click that retweet, and the post that MEFA shares will reappear on your page and just help us expand our audience. A like is going to show that you support it and that you really like what we put out there, but maybe it's not something that you definitely want to push out to your families. And then this last one here, I really like. It's the opportunity to take a very specific tweet and share it outside of Twitter. So you can take that, and it will allow you to share the tweet in email. You can copy the link and send it along in, maybe a Facebook message or something else, or you could send it right in a direct message within Twitter, which allows you to communicate directly with another user right on the platform. Some more examples here, and these are some more examples of how you can engage. And so this W.T. Woodson High School is a really great example of a quoted tweet. It's a video that we have about the types of financial aid for college students. And their quote was financial aid in a nutshell, with a little smiley face emoji here. Then we have CCONC Guidance, who's sharing MEFA's events to their high school senior audience. Hopedale Guidance, using some of MEFA's exact content that we created. Bellingham School Counseling sharing, excuse me, it looks like they use some of their own content here. And then Minuteman High School, again, this is some of their own content, a terrific free resource for families, college financing webinars once per week starting 9/21. LinkedIn is a little bit different than Facebook and Twitter, just in that the audience pool is a little bit different. LinkedIn is a little bit more of a professional, excuse me, it's a little bit more of a professional platform. And I say that because we tend to see more engagement with our pool of school counselors and community business organizations and folks who are in the industry right alongside us. There are families who do follow us. There are college students who follow us. So we do share a lot of the same content that we're sharing on Facebook and Twitter on LinkedIn, but we're sharing it at a different pace and at a different, we're more selective, I guess is the best way to put it. We're more selective about the content that we're putting there. It's more of a networking site, but there's still value because you're never going to know who might benefit from some of the information that we're sharing. Users create personal profiles and search for contacts, friends, or colleagues, and they can create an extensive network of connections. And one of the things that I'm seeing is it works really well for reconnecting past colleagues and classmates, but it also creates an opportunity for individuals to access professional development resources and opportunities. So MEFA does share all of our MEFA Institute events here. We try to share anything that has to do with professional development, any of our great resources available to our school counselors and community business partners. But we also are sharing general content. We're sharing savings content. We're sharing refinancing content. We're sharing our financial aid and admissions content. Again, it's just at a different level. We typically post one post per day on LinkedIn just because of the way that this platform works for us versus the other platforms. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be engaging with MEFA. And LinkedIn is great with the way that they allow you to engage. It's very similar to Twitter and Facebook. It allows you to like a post, it allows you to comment. And something that I really like about LinkedIn is that it provides opportunities for you to just select a comment. So you could click here and it automatically, you'll see very useful, well said. And as you click on each of these different buttons, and I obviously can't click because this is a screen grab, but there's a lot of different samples. So you can just like plop something right in there. And this isn't just for MEFA. This is if a colleague happens to share something that you really like. This allows you to go ahead and engage with something that they said, and it gives you some suggested ways to communicate with them. Again, we do put our MEFA Institute events on here, our savings events on here, our attainable events on here. And this is an example of what MEFA's event looked like on LinkedIn. You can look to LinkedIn to find the professional development opportunities through MEFA Institute. We share events here to help boost that awareness of these opportunities. And I ask that if you are on LinkedIn and you are engaging with us, that you share these with your colleagues to help us spread the word. So what's next? This is where I wanted to open up the conversation a little bit. I'd love to know if anyone wants to share. You can share it right via the chat. How are you communicating with your families? It's been very, very different this year over previous years. And if you are on social media, is there a specific way that you have been communicating with your families? Have you used some of MEFA's resources to help share? If not, do you think that what we're doing here is helpful? Is there other ways that we could be helping? We'd love to get the feedback from attendees. And again, you don't have to share them in the chat box if you don't want to. You can shoot us a note after the fact. But what we're doing is we're really trying to share our resources and content to help. But at the same time, we want to make sure that what we're doing is helpful to you. So if there are other ways that we can be supportive, please share.
So Lisa, someone mentioned that they only have an Instagram account. So that's good that we'll be moving in that direction too.
We are going to be moving into Instagram right now. I'll give you a sneak preview. So when I mentioned at the very beginning of the presentation that we have that thematic calendar, one of the things that we've been really working towards is looking at our content and trying to break those out into really short, digestible pieces of content. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen all of our blogs and all of the videos and resources that we share. A small group of us are working to create those into imagery, and then we're plopping those right into our calendar, and then we'll be out there. We just don't want to run until we can walk. So we just want those to be out there. So I encourage you, the handle will be at MEFA_MA. You can follow us now. There's nothing there, just you'll see our logo. And I would say in the next week or so, you should be able to see that launch, and we're really excited about it. And we'll be sharing that within our counselor emails and within our family emails as well. As soon as we're launched, we'll be sure to make a big splash.
That's great. And Lisa, that same person did say that what you pointed out about sharing MEFA's Twitter posts via email through that share button will be helpful. So that was a good tip.
Great.
And I guess I will just also reiterate the importance in working with you. We really want to work with you and help you with your jobs. I mean, always, and especially in these times that are more challenging. So hopefully you will be in touch with us, with any further information. Again, we'll send you all of this follow-up tomorrow, and you can continue to share. If you need to find the posts and the language and all of that Lisa was talking about, let us know that as well, and we can share that content with you. Let me see. I think I have another question here. Oh yeah, so this is a great question. Is there an opportunity for live question and answer this year virtually after families watch the MEFA financing videos? So here's what I'd say. So we have a number of different ways that families can receive this financial aid content. So every week, beginning, I think it's September 21st, as Lisa said, every week we're going to have a live college financial aid presentation every single week, different times. We're even going to have one in Spanish and one in Chinese. So look for those. Those family events can all be found on mefa.org/events. And so during that live event, when families register, they can ask questions, and then we make sure to cover those. They can ask questions live during the event. And then when we follow up with those families to send them the copy of the recording, they can also ask questions that way, through the email that goes out. Plus, they can always call us, email us. All of that information will be there. So that is all in place. As far as sending the recording or just using the recording, let's talk about that. I would say maybe be in touch with me, and we can get creative and think about what you're saying after families watch a video, how to add that in. So let's think through that more. But again, right now, once a week, we have a live college financing webinar for families.
And Julie, this is not answering that question, but it's something that I did not mention at all throughout this presentation. But one of the really great things about social media, and it's something that we've seen evolve over even the past year, is that counselors and families and anyone who's following MEFA, we are seeing that the social media become a part of the customer service process. So we see questions come in, whether it's a question directly on a post or a private message, and we're able to really assist families one-on-one that way as well. And we encourage those questions, and we encourage folks to reach out to us however they feel most comfortable. If they want to reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter in a private message, I'm perfectly honest with you, I can't help them at all, but I know how to get the answers very quickly, and we have a very quick turnaround. Our goal is to have something answered within 12 hours if it's during the business day, and if it comes in after hours, it's within that 24-hour period. So we are constantly monitoring, and we're constantly trying to help families, and you guys too. If you have questions and you want to reach out to us that way, please do. I'm here.
And Lisa, I'll ask you this one last question, and I'm over my skis with this, as they say, but you might know. Would it be a useful thing to ask people if they want to put their social handles here in the chat?
Yes.
And then you could follow them with MEFA's account. Is that a useful?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to send them right along in the chat, we'll follow you right back. Or again, if you want to email, my contact information is not in the slides, but you can, hold on, why isn't it working? You can email collegeplanning@mefa.org, or if you have a pen handy, my name again is Lisa Rooney. It's LROONEY@mefa.org. And I am excited to hear from you and engage with you. So please, any questions, if you want to share your handles, anything like that, please connect. I'm excited.
And I'm going to add one more thing, because we have one more question. We talked about this MEFA Institute being for counselors and professional development training, but very important, and this question is about, we also have so much content and so many webinars for students and for parents, for families coming up. So the place that you get that and that you send, you can give this link to all of your families is just mefa.org/events. And send that to them, and you will see there are so many college financing presentations coming up, again, one a week, different times of the day, a lot in the evening, a few different presenters, a couple of different languages, as we mentioned. So please send your families to mefa.org/events, and that's where they'll find all of that. And not only are there sort of general how to apply for financial aid webinars, we have one on FAFSA. We have one on the CSS profile. We have one on financial aid for undocumented students. So, and again, we have a college financing in Spanish, and we're going to try one in Chinese this year. So hopefully other languages to come. So, but all of it is listed right there, mefa.org/events, and families can go in and register right there. And if someone registers and they aren't able to attend, then we still follow up and send the recording as well. So I'm glad you asked that question. And let's see what else. I'm going to send one more thing. I think I'm going to try to put it in the chat, which is just the form to fill out for professional development points. So let me see if I can do that right here and put that in the chat. I'm not sure you can see that. So go to our website where you on the MEFA Institute where you found this, and you'll be able to sign up for those professional development points. All right. Thank you all, and continue to stay in touch. And we're happy to see you this morning. Take care. Thank you, Lisa,
Thank you.
so much.
My pleasure. Thanks, everybody.